Oh, what do you know? Trust is a kill Protoss.
What was that?
Oh, what do you know? Trust is a teal Protoss.
Why don't you introduce our players properly?
Alright, spawning in the bottom left, the imitating of Zenidor Teal Protoss. Siege Entis' Trust. And spawning in the bottom right, the currently 1-up, Orange Zerg Su. Or SK Telecom Team 1's Su.
Yeah, I mean, not much has... What color was Trust last game?
Red.
So, Su is going to send his Overlord up to the top right. That's not really going to get him any results other than eliminating one possible spawning location for his opponent. He's going to send his other one across, diagonally. I don't think it's going to Diagon Alley, but it will go diagonally.
Zerg Nocturne Alley.
What was that?
If it's Zerg, it'd be Nocturne Alley.
Oh. I see. Hey, Dad. It's just gonna be a standard 15 hatch so far out of Su. I actually think he'll go 3 hatch before pool here. I mean, if he did it on Overgrowth, he's gonna do it here. Unless he wants to go for like some hyper aggression of some sort, but if he did it on Overgrowth, the smallest map, I expect him to do it against the same player. Yeah, there he goes. There goes the drone, and we should be seeing his 3rd hatch go down. For the purpose of creep spread, whether you're going, regardless of what you're doing, on a map like this, where it is so big, to have a protected, I suggest taking the 3rd location. Now, I will note that the risk, of course, is that you make yourself more vulnerable to early game attacks, particularly between the 7 to 10 minute mark, but it's minimal. And that if you go for a 3 hatch before pool, it really doesn't I mean, you should just do that because there's no reason not to, essentially. Because by the time that they're countering it, or attempting to counter it, or recognizing it, they won't even know the difference. And that doesn't mean you have to send your probes to that location. With a 3 hatch before pool, you can't possibly saturate your natural before the 3rd completes. So essentially, you just can send your probes back up to the normal natural position. The only reason for taking the natural at the 3rd base location first is for the creep. So it really doesn't affect how protected your probes are. So with the 3 hatch before pool, there's no risk whatsoever if you're doing that build anyways. Now, that build itself has its own risks. Being that since it's so heavily committed to macro, there's like almost no early game defense, but yeah. It looks like Trust wants to go for a proxy Dark Shrine. And the reason why I say that is because he's keeping his probe up there when he has no guarantee where his opponent is. So, I mean, if he knew that his opponent was diagonally across from him, it could be a Stargate, but that wouldn't be a logical position for a Stargate, even then. But when he puts it there, that says DTs to me. And that's, I mean, in a certain sense, if you see a probe moving out, you can use this information to say, oh, whether or not you see the tech, if you see the probe moving in that direction, like, okay, say somehow he had he saw the probe when it was moving this way, okay? Then he never gets scouted. So then he has to ask himself, what did that probe do? If search pattern here, he searches up here. He can base
Because you were poking a Zergling. You were poking a Zergling. Your mouse is hovering over it, looking like it. And yours also clicking at the same time, so it looked like you were poking the Zergling.
it died. It got
Oh,
shit down. Yeah. So, I like Sue's position right now. It's economically stronger, and there's not much. Actually, I feel like Trust is smelling a weakness in. I think Trust remembers how Sue played last game, and has decided to go for DTs, hoping that there is no protection again. But there is a Spore Crawler in each base, so that's not going to work to the same efficiency as it did last time. This pylon is very close. That is good. He can warp in his DTs like right here. And get a move on. He might not, of course. He might warp them in on the high ground. Then he does not give away the location of his pylon. Well, I mean... yeah. He can warp them in there. They won't see anything. So, at the present moment, he's just scouting with, Su is just scouting with his Zerglings, macroing. Good 8-minute Zerg. Just not overcommitting, trying to get ahead economically, so that he can just have endless Zerg army. Then back over here for Trust, he's gonna throw down his third, warp in DTs, split them up, or is he? Is he gonna keep them together? Okay, he is gonna keep them together. I imagine he's gonna hit the queen first, and then target the morphing hatchery. The queen is down. He's actually taken his mothership core with this, and I do believe he means to kill detection here as quickly as possible. And the drones are trying to stop it from happening, but there's just too much DPS. That time warp! Oh my gosh! Okay, that is perfect. Now I understand why he brought his MS core. Basically, with that time warp, he guarantees himself the death of this hatchery as long as, or lair rather, as long as he capitalizes on it. And I mean, he can keep delaying attacking it for a while because nothing else is happening. He's gonna send another 3 DTs, and they're gonna cause problems at the third. He's researching Blink behind this, so he will have a follow-up. These drones are dying. They're they can't do anything anymore. That's gonna fall. This lair may survive with some transfuses, maybe. I think there's enough Zerg there, yeah. Okay, so the lair survives since he didn't jump on it immediately. But, I mean, how many probes have been lost? Oh, he's only lost 1 probe. Probe, what am I saying? He's lost 25 drones. Yeah. How many drones does he have? Yeah, how many drones does he have left? He's down to 38 drones. That is good work for 3. For 6. I mean, even losing 6 DTs to bring your opponent down, because basically now Su is gonna have to replace all those drones, and then he won't have the larva for army. So basically he's stuck with whatever army he has now until the late game, and this is just going mid to late game. And so this just sets Su up, or Trust up for a very, I mean, there's going to be no aggression at his third that he can't stop. And then